Hello everyone and welcome aboard. You just made it to Avalon and you're trying to figure out how you get on one of these moorings. Well, I'm gonna show you guys in this video how to pick up a mooring in Avalon. We'll show you guys how to get one assigned to you. They do not do reservations, so you have to come here and get one assigned, first come, first serve. Then I'll show you guys how to pick it up. It should be useful for most places that you go and need to grab a mooring. All the moorings, for the most part, are pretty similar, so we'll show you guys how to do that right now. This how-to is sponsored by SetSailMarine.com. One day, my knowledge will be replaced by AI. And that day was 3 months ago when I started SetSailMarine.com. SetSail Marine uses state-of-the-art AI to help you buy or sell a boat, find a vendor, and learn everything you need to about the water. Go check out our AI sailor and the future of online boating at SetSailMarine.com. First up, before you learn to get on a mooring, you've got to have one. You can get on a mooring in Avalon without using your radio. When you approach the island, look for a line of boats off the casino. Or if it's a slow day like today, there may not be a line. Just go find one of the red Harbor Department boats. When they are ready for you, they will approach you and ask you a series of questions. Questions like, how long are you staying for? Friday afternoon. What is the length of your boat? 29. And what is your credit card information? 5. If it's your first time to the island, which there's a high likelihood of if you're watching this video, then they will also ask you for your personal contact info as well as your vessel's documentation number. They save this info for the future. In fact, the first thing they will ask for is documentation numbers if you don't have any registration numbers displayed. All right, and just like that, we have a mooring. The conversations are pretty easy. You pretty much just tell them that kind of, if it's not busy, they'll let you choose sort of where you want to be. I'll show you guys all the different areas that you can go. In this corner over here by the casino, that's where it's all most protected. Over here by the beach, it's nice because you have a beach in front of you, but the waves come in a little bit with the wind. Can cut through this whole area here if you know what you're doing and you know where you're supposed to go. If you don't, the best thing to do is to go around the flyer over here, and there's a fairway where the green pier is. You go down the fairway until you get to the row that he told you to hit. Go down that row, look for your number. We're number 23. You can see here, this is the fairway I was talking about. They don't put any moorings here. It's so boats can come in and out of the harbor. We just cut in to the second row because there are some pedal boaters in the first row we wanted to avoid. Oh, we got the bell going off. So when you approach your mooring, what you're going to want to do is figure out which one it is to start. You don't want to end up on the wrong one. Figure out which direction the wind's coming and sort of head into the wind and put yourself between the wind, the forward buoy, and your bow. We're going to cut into this first row, which we are on, so that we can turn around and approach our mooring and keep it windward of us. That way, if we keep our bow into the wind, we can keep better control of our vessel. So we are mooring number 23. It is now right in front of us. As you can see, this guy's got no idea what he's doing with this dinghy. And as we straighten up, we will start to slowly approach the mooring. The mooring has a little float hanging off the end of it. That is what you grab. You grab the stick, put the stick on your bow, then you lift up the loop and put the loop around where you are going to tie your boat off. Just like this. There you go. Now, I want to quickly pause right here, and no, it's not to admire my butt. I secure the yellow mooring eyes, or hawsers, if we are showing off our vocabulary today, directly to my vessel because that works for me. I don't have rails or fair leads or gunnels getting in my way. But if you look at the boat in front of me, they use a separate stern line to secure the mooring to their vessel. It is common for boats to have to use a secondary line on the bow, stern, or both in order to secure themselves and/or avoid chafing. This method is also nice when it comes to unmooring, because instead of lifting a line under tension, you can untie a cleat hitch and let your line slip through the mooring eye, if you don't have a hitch in your line, of course. If this setup is something that you need or decide to do, I would recommend having these extra lines ready before approaching, and if possible, have a way to temporarily secure your vessel to the mooring. Then, once safe, going back to add the lines and make adjustments. This way you do not feel rushed to secure your vessel, and you can take the proper time and care necessary to handle moving lines under tension, one at a time without losing fingers or blowing into your neighbors. Now, back to my simple buoy technique. Attached to that first loop is a second line. This one's called a sand line, and the sand line is how you get your stern loop onto your vessel. And you want to be kind of careful with the sand line because it has lead weights on it, and you don't really want to bang the lead weights against your boat. Also, depending on how often the mooring you're on is used, it will be covered in either growth or hopefully just sand. It's always good to ask the harbor department as well, when you grab your mooring, how big of a mooring they've put you on. For example, my boat is 29 feet, so I'm on a 30-foot mooring, which means that I can just grab this thing and loop it directly to my stern cleat like that, and I don't have to be worried that I am on the wrong size mooring. However, if you are undersized for the size mooring that you're on, you can tie your stern of your vessel off with the sand line if you're unable to reach that loop, because that loop will be significantly farther away because the mooring will be weighted for a much larger vessel than yours. And believe it or not, getting the mooring lines as tight as possible isn't always a good thing. It can greatly affect your comfort on board. Check out this example of a smaller boat that stretched for the mooring loop versus a similar vessel that didn't. See how the Parker like chills but hookup like moves all over the place?
Why?
That's because the mooring,
tied, right?
the mooring that hookup is on is for a bigger boat, but they stretched it as like the yellow lines to their smaller boat. Whereas the Parker has like slack lines, so they just chill in the middle and they don't spin all over the place like hookup does. Once you have both those loops on, all you do is turn off your boat and you're safely moored up in the harbor. You do get a lot of stuff on your hands though, so it's recommended to wash off your vessel the best you can with some water due to all that grime on the sand line. All right, a couple final things to talk about here about what side of your boat to put the mooring lines on. Now, it stands to reason that you would typically want to put the mooring lines on whatever side the boat next to you has them on, so that when you guys float kind of evenly spaced with each other. That makes sense. However, if it is up to you and only you should put the mooring lines on the windward side, and the side that will be windward most of the time you're out. That way, when you decide that you want to drop them, you can just let go of the lines on the corner and on the bow, and your boat will float away from the lines that are falling. That way, they don't get caught on you, and that way, you're able to float free of the mooring safely and head on out. Also, on that point, make sure that your sand line, which I have already dropped in the water down here, but the sand line, remember, is the line that connects your front mooring loop to your rear mooring loop. Make sure that that sand line doesn't get caught on any sort of cleats or any sort of fenders or anything hanging over the side, because as you drive away and you think that that line has now sunk, it is currently getting wrapped around your prop. So with that, grabbing a mooring, super easy to drop as well. Don't be too afraid of them. Just make sure that you come in nice and slow, in control, account for the wind, and you'll be good to go. Smooth sailing.